My name is Kaira. I'm 19 years old and I go to UC San Diego. I love everything involving the ocean, so I am a certified scuba diver, but I don't dive here, but I snorkel a lot here. And I do a lot of tide pooling. And then my other big hobby is silversmithing, so this necklace and all the other jewelry I'm wearing today is all handmade. I don't do a whole lot of it here in California. I do a lot of it back home where I have all my equipment, but I love it a whole lot and I make almost all of the jewelry that I wear. One of my favorite accomplishments is, I'm going to school to be a composer, and I have written over 80 different works of music. So that includes like concert pieces, some solos, some pieces for band and orchestra, and then some soundtracks for movies and video games. Not full like feature films, but short films that I've worked with other students at UC San Diego. The other accomplishment that I am really proud of, and to a lot of people it seems so simple, but there have been 6 people in my life who I was the first person they ever came out to. And that means a lot to me because coming out for the first time is not easy on anybody, and that shows I am deeply trusted by these people. And my other, big accomplishment in my life was pursuing self-love and self-partnership. After I have struggled for a lot with depression and OCD, and it took a lot to not fully pull myself out of it, but to learn how to work with it and to learn how to love myself. And I'm actually, planning on having a self-marriage ceremony in a little over a year. Really, a lot of it is I do have to accept that I'm struggling with some of this fatigue and with these intrusive thoughts. But one of the things I've realized is those thoughts can come into my brain, but I don't have to repeat them consciously. I can just kind of acknowledge that my thoughts are my thoughts and they're a part of me, but they're nothing more. It was a bit of reading and just learning from other people online, but a lot of it was really, self-guided, and a lot of it was just like there was a way that I was living that I didn't really want to live that way anymore. I felt like guilty for everything I did, not in like a normal guilt or shame way, but in a truly like pathological way. And it felt like it was like holding me back from my whole life. And one of the techniques that I used, that I learned on the internet, is to replace like exaggerated self-deprecating jokes with like exaggeratingly positive jokes. When I decided to do that, that was a huge turning point for me, really. I would say that I would first acknowledge that this is really hard and that it's okay for you to struggle, it's okay to ask for help, but it can get better. And sometimes that's really hard to believe. Sometimes it just you need to take a step back and understand who you are on a deeper level. Really, the biggest thing that when I think of what makes me happy, I immediately think of nature. I love being by the ocean. I love just sitting there watching the waves. I love to just be in that environment. Even though I'm allergic to grass, I love to just go lay down on the grass and then try not to itch too hard afterwards. And the other thing is, of course, music makes me happy, both composing music and listening to music. And I listen to a lot of classical music, concert music. My favorite musical work of all time is Beethoven's Sixth Symphony. There are so many people I could talk about, and definitely my parents are high on that list, but most notably, I think that if I had to pick the most influential person in my life, I would pick my school counselor in kindergarten named Sherry. I met her when I was 5, and my parents told me to call her my fairy godmother. And every year on my birthday, she messages me on Facebook saying, "Happy birthday from your fairy godmother." You know, my parents kind of realized that I was different when I was in kindergarten, and they weren't really sure who to talk to and how to meet all of my needs with learning. And she really helped for a lot of my elementary school. But obviously, I'm working on my bachelor's degree in music, and I would like to get that. And obviously, I'd like to go through with the self-marriage ceremony that I'm planning. That's a big goal of mine. And some of the other goals I have are just being able to work in film. My dream in life really is to write the music for a film or a TV show in the Star Wars franchise. I love John Williams. I love all of his work, and Star Wars really is something special. I would love to be able to live in kind of like an eco homestead, or like a little woodland cabin where it's able to be more self-sufficient and use less energy, and just be able to have that solitude with nature. One of my inspirations for that idea is Walden by Henry David Thoreau. You know, I've always had high aspirations, especially when I was younger. I was very interested in science, and of course I still am. I still have this deep love of science, and actually a lot of my music is inspired by scientific concepts, namely a lot of biodiversity hotspots. I'll pick a biodiversity hotspot and then I'll kind of create a depiction of it in my music. I also am working on a concert suite that's called the Periodic Table of the Elements, kind of using the ideas of each of these elements on the periodic table and turning them into music.